Well, staying on the theme, for the people, for our future, Wednesday will focus on the theme, a fight for our freedoms, where the Democrats, they are set to highlight how Kamala Harris will work to protect the freedom of all Americans, while at the same time portraying Donald Trump as a threat to those very same principles. Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, he is expected to deliver the keynote address where he officially accepts the vice presidential nomination. Former President Bill Clinton and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are also expected to be present at the convention. And to get us more on the takeaways and what should we expect from day 3, we're joined by Patsy Widakuswara, White House Bureau Chief, Voice of America. Patsy, we saw the kind of reception that the Obamas got. What is the mood now among the Democrats after last night, and especially after what seemed like a rally call by the Obamas?
NDTV, I cannot hear anything. If you're calling me, I'm not hearing anything from you. But right now, I can tell you that.
All right, we'll try and get Patsy Widakuswara back. Like I mentioned, on day 3, there is a lot to expect from the convention, the theme, which is for the people, for our future. That theme on Wednesday will focus on the theme, a fight for our freedoms. In fact, let's go across to Patsy Widakuswara, who's joining us. She's the White House Bureau Chief for Voice of America. Patsy, if you could hear me, we saw the kind of reception that the Obamas got. What is the mood now among the Democrats, especially after last night and especially after what seemed like a rally call by the Obamas there?
So I'm not able to hear you because there's a really bad echo, but I did hear you mention Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, and clearly those two speakers were the highlight of the night. If you look at carefully what Michelle Obama is saying, she's specifically hitting the issue of race, mentioning how Donald Trump fears Black people. She uses herself and her husband as two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. That is a clear and direct attack on issues of race that has been overshadowing this whole campaign from Donald Trump. As well as Barack Obama kind of just like becoming this really effective attack dog on Donald Trump, mocking him for his whining, mocking him for being obsessed about crowd sizes, even at one point making, a joke that some people say refers to anatomy. So clearly those two speakers were the highlight of the night last night, making Democrats becoming more and more riled up and more enthusiastic for what is coming tonight, which is, some really big Democratic speakers, including Bill Clinton, that will be introducing some of the other speakers lining up towards Tim Walz, who is, of course, the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. So if you can see the whole buildup of this week, it has been a theme of unity and continuity. So this is, of course, something starting from, Jason Carter, who is the family of Jimmy Carter, to Hillary Clinton, to the Obamas. You can see that there's continuity of leadership in the Democratic Party, all supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. It's very different compared to the Republican National Convention last month, where it's largely Donald Trump and his family. So those are some key themes happening here in Chicago.
Patsy, I would also like to understand what's going on the sidelines of the convention, especially we saw the shadow of Gaza. It's looming on the event as well. We saw protests and we saw arrests being made. How is this impacting the convention, these protests? And apart from the former...
Certainly, the issue of Gaza is the one issue that is becoming a sort of, not a division among Democrats, but a source of disagreement. They are united on every other issue, whether it's gun control, abortion, supporting democracy and all of that. But on the issue of Gaza, there's this group of uncommitted delegates. There's only very few of them, 30 people, who are saying, look, the people outside who are protesting, they need to have their voices heard. And what they are asking to do is for the administration, a potential Harris administration, to change their policy on Gaza in terms of supporting Israel. They are pushing for an arms embargo or at least conditioning aid to Israel. Now, clearly, that is not going to happen. We have already seen the Democratic National Party lay out their party platform on Monday, which does not mention arms embargo. I've also spoken to the Harris campaign people. I've spoken to the vice president's office saying, is Vice President Harris, should she become the next president, would she change any kind of policy from the Biden administration towards her administration on Gaza? And their answer is very clear. No, we are going to continue to support Israel. Now, I asked the delegates here, not just the uncommitted delegates, but also the other delegates who have declared themselves the ceasefire delegates. There's about 200 people who are saying that they want a ceasefire now, which is something that most of the 4,000 delegates here say they want. But these smaller group of people, they are also pushing for conditioning aid to Israel. I asked them, are they discouraged with the fact that this is not happening, at least not this week? And they are saying, no, they're not discouraged. They're hopeful. They know that this is a long-term movement. They're looking into the future, and they're going to keep the pressure on the Harris campaign and potentially the administration.
All right, Patsy, thank you very much for joining us and getting us all those details and putting everything in perspective for our viewers there.